What's good, y'all? You already know what it is. Illadelph Steak Life. It's your man Kil.
It's your man Rell.
We got gas behind the camera. You already know what this is. Three boys from Philly. We go any and everywhere. People claim they got dope cheesesteaks. We go there and we take the L for y'all so y'all don't have to. But prayerfully, it won't be no L's here today. This spot right here, today, we are in Takoma Park, Maryland. Here's the crazy thing about this spot, Soka, right here. It's a true story too, bro. That's how crazy this is. It was a Sunday. My man Chris hit me. Like, yo, Kil, me and wifey went to spot Soka. They got crazy cheesesteaks, right? But I'm like, anybody who's not from Philly, I kind of take it with a grain of sand, because what are you comparing it to?
Right.
Same day, my man Steve hit me. Like, yo, some of the parents on the AAU team was talking about cheesesteaks. This spot Soka. I'm like, okay. Then Iron hits me. Like, yo, this spot Soka. So I'm like, all right, 3 people on the same day, that ain't nothing but God at that point. So we gotta go in here. It's a butchery, it's a butcher spot. So let's see. I mean, the joints look crazy. So let's see what we got. Mayo, and it comes with like homemade real sauce, right?
Cheese sauce. It's good, but I like provolone.
Nah, I gotta go with this.
Right? Okay.
Yeah,
Is that all for me? Any sauce you drink today?
Nah.
All right.
Yeah.
This is very reminiscent
This
of a
craw-
Philly steak, especially with whiz. This looks good. This looks real good. Shout out my man Mental. We don't do ketchup anymore on the steak, so then that way you can really see how good the steak feels and
cross-section is
tastes.
crazy in this, yeah. This is a Cooper Sharp whiz, homemade.
Off the rip, what you think? Weight test.
Weight test pretty good.
All right. What about the bread? Because this is an Amoroso, it's not seeded.
Right.
I think it's a homemade.
It's homemade, slightly toasted, which, okay. But the cross section is very impressive.
All right, let's go in. What you think?
Good.
It's good.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about this joint. The meat, and again, everybody, I'm not saying pause. I'm 50. We're not playing the pause game. So we're going to be talking about meat all day. I'm not saying pause. Get your jokes out already. It was this boy on IG, and I wish I could get a boy credit because I always like to give credit, but he had talked about like the evolution of the Philly cheesesteak. And he was talking about how, again, with Pats and Geno's, just put the meat on, whiz, whatever. And then it grew to what I think a lot of our generation came from, which is just meat, onions, whiz, triple, if you want to get triple cheese or something like that.
Yeah.
Amoroso. Whereas now the new evolution of the Philly cheesesteak is what I like to call the South Philly cheesesteak, because that's when I first got put on, which is the shaved ribeye, which is the seeded roll, and the Cooper Sharp.
Yep.
Like, that's the new evolution of the cheesesteak. I've been getting shaved ribeye so much that I think anything else just doesn't taste as good.
Right.
This isn't shaved ribeye. This is just regular meat. So it's still good, but because I've been getting that shaved ribeye for so long, it's almost like, you know what I mean?
You can taste the difference.
Yeah, you can taste the difference. It's still a good steak. Don't get that twisted. I don't want to hold that against the mic rating we give this joint, because off the rip, this is getting 4 mics, if not better, for me at least. But I realized that because I'm eating it, I'm like, what's off about this? But it's only because I'm so used to getting the shaved ribeye, and this is just regular meat. What you think of the joint though?
It's really good. It's really good. You can tell the difference with the shaved ribeye and the regular. You can taste the difference. However, I'm not gonna hold it against it. This is a good steak. It's a good steak. This cheese sauce is
It's crazy, right?
impressive. Yeah, this cheese sauce is impressive.
Now I think what makes it even more impressive is that it's a Cooper Sharp cheese whiz.
sauce. Right.
So it's almost like the best of both worlds for me. Like
Right.
it's when I went from the Gage, you gotta understand this. When I was on the MPC, my zip drive stopped working. Crazy Fingers was like, bro, just go get the machine. You know what I mean? It's the best of both worlds. You still have the pads, but then you still have, you're on a computer. You know what I mean? So to me, that's why I love the machine. It's the best of both worlds. This Cooper Sharp Whiz is the best of both worlds for me because I love Whiz, I love Cooper Sharp. This is incredible. If this had shaved ribeye, I'm giving it 5 mics off the rip. For me, I'm not gonna hold it against them because again, this is the evolution of Philly cheesesteaks, and I don't think everybody has gotten the memo of shaved ribeye yet. I would have to give this steak, I may have to give it 5 mics, man. Because it's a good steak. It's just because I don't want to hold it against it for the
Right.
shaved ribeye. You know what I mean? But if I was just coming in, I've never had shaved ribeye, and I just come here for a steak,
Yeah.
I'm not mad at this at all. I'm not mad at anybody who takes that ride. It was an hour drive for me to get out here. You know what? Maybe I'm overstepping. I'll give it 4.5. I'll give it 4.5 for right now.
In the context of where we're at,
Right.
and I'm giving it 4.5, and I would drive to get this. So that says a lot because I don't live near here. But I would drive to get this. This was
Bro, that's the funny part.
definitely good.
I ain't know it was gonna take this long. That's why I hit you like, yo, I'm leaving. I had no
Right,
idea it was
right.
gonna take me an hour to get here. But this is most def. I'll say this. Because Takoma fell off, fuck Takoma, I would definitely give this the dopest cheese
This
steak.
is number one right now.
This is number one.
number
I would say
one
this
right
is number one. So if you're in Maryland, Soka Butcher, it's right here. It's a small mom and pop spot, so prayerfully they won't do a Takoma and flip up and change everything. And I told you about that, right?
Yeah, I was very disappointed because the initial impression of Takoma was so good that when y'all said they fell off and I was disappointed. This spot I like because it's a little neighborhood butcher shop. You know what I'm saying? It's give you that it's nostalgic feel.
good.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna hold you. This is good, bro.
Yeah. They did a good job with this.
And it's sloppy too. That reminds me of home too. Like, the fact that we needed napkins, to me, there's a testament to that.
Right,
like
right,
that
right.
we needed napkins. This thing is sloppy. Not a lot of spillage because we kind of took spillage off. What had to be the norm. This is damn good, bro.
Cause we didn't have somewhere
This is good.
we didn't need napkins because we barely ate it. I don't wanna.
First joint.
That first joint was bad.
The thing I love about this, Gadge, I don't know if you could zoom in on this. Maybe it's just one of the things that I love doing. But the fact that we got the cheese sauce that's dripping, like this is like brings me back to my childhood where you're taking a steak and you just
Yeah.
you're picking up all of it. Like this is some Philly shit right here. This is good. This is really good, bro.
Yeah. I'll definitely come back here.
Yeah, this is definitely 4 mics. 4.5. 4.5. Now
I'll
tell me
definitely
this,
come
bro.
back here.
My young boy hit me. He was out here. He always tries to school me and stuff. What would you say? He was asking me something about, he was at a spot, He was like, yo, Kil OG, should I get extra meat on my steak? And I said, yo, I'm not gonna hold you. When I see things that say like extra meat or extra $3, that's a red flag for me. That's a red flag because I'm like, give me whatever your steak is.
Right.
Like, whatever you are, be that. You know what I mean? Like, we
so-
talking about some extra meat. Like, no, just give me. Could you imagine going to Pagano's
I
or
was
D'Alessandro's?
just about to say, going to Pagano's and saying, especially in their prime, back in their heyday, and saying extra meat. That is almost like, that's like borderline. That's crazy because they already load that sandwich
Right.
up with two, like Pagano's. Those sandwiches was like loaded, where people be like, you know, make another sandwich with the meat that falls off your
The
enormous.
spillage.
Yeah, so asking for extra would just be like
Would be crazy.
overkill to me. You know what I'm saying?
But to me, that I told the boy, I said, that's a red flag that that's not a legit cheesesteak spot. If you come to me for a beat and you pay for the beat, you shouldn't have to be like, okay, I gotta pay extra for the drums too.
drums.
Like,
Right,
nah,
right.
that's the beat.
Right,
No,
right.
You're getting what you get.
Right.
So what are some red flags, Gage? Red flags for y'all that y'all may be in this ain't no legit spot. Because the thing that I've realized, bro, is everywhere you go, we was just in Virginia Beach, and T is getting pissed because it's like everywhere saying authentic New York slice. And it's not.
And it's not, right.
Every place you go for a cheesesteak, my homegirl Ra, shout out to my homegirl Ra, my man Slack out there, she'll always hit me when it'll be like, yo, she hit me with something like cheesesteak meatloaf. Cheesesteak, hamburger helper, like, she'll always hit me. And it's like, I hate that. My bad, it's Philly cheesesteak.
Philly cheesesteak.
Hamburger helper or Philly cheesesteak meatloaf.
Right.
So it's like a pet peeve. So if somebody is somewhere and they say, yo, this is authentic Philly, what are some of a red flag that you could think of that could turn you off? Like I said, for me, it's the extra meat. Like, if you are authentic spot, you don't have no extra meat. It just is what it is.
For me, it's
All right, hold that thought real quick. For
you good. For me, it's combos. You get a cheesesteak and French fries and a soda. Like that. That sounds cool. You know what I'm saying? But that's not how. That's not how I was brought up with it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's some new stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
Bro, I don't know any authentic spot in Philly.
not one. I can't name one where
That
you're
you could go
getting
to. You
a
could be
freaking
like-
combo. Yeah.
Bro, half the spots don't even sell French fries.
Yeah, a lot of them don't. Right. And I'm thinking like, I'm trying to think the only place I know that really people would get fries is maybe Ishkabibbles.
Yeah. You know the thing with me with Ishkabibbles, I've never looked at them as like a cheesesteak spot.
They okay. I mean,
Their chickens are good. Now, if we were doing chicken cheesesteaks, I always tell people, because everybody loves to say Ishkabibbles. You know what I mean? I feel like it's a step above Pat and Gino's. And not,
yeah, it's a lot of out of towners.
right, it's a spot.
like Ishkabibbles. Yeah.
Right, they're out of towners, they on South Street. You can
Yeah.
go there, whatever like that. Great for chicken cheesesteaks.
And a Gremlin, the
Yeah.
drink that they got.
Yo, you know, I never liked that. And I hated
For
the
real?
fact that I don't like Gremlins because everybody would be
I
hyping
love
up the
them.
Gremlins.
I love
and I
them
had one,
Jones,
I was like,
man.
yo, this shit's nasty as
I
hell,
love
man.
them Jones, man.
Gaz,
Like,
what about you? You got any cheesesteak red flags?
If I don't see fresh vegetables,
Okay.
like
Like on the grill, like that the
Yeah,
onions are on the grill getting chopped up?
Yeah.
I gotta see it.
Yep. I agree with that. I agree with
I've
that.
been to some spots here where it ain't no fresh vegetables. It's like they on some McDonald's shit.
Right. Another is the cheese. If you putting orange cheese slices on it,
Right.
Oh,
I'm
American cheese.
I'm
Oh.
walking out. Like I'm walking out. I can't do that. That's
Right.
that's a no.
You know,
what I'm
another thing
saying?
for me, we did this when we were at Capo's. When they'll be like, what kind of bread do you want?
Yeah, I can't think of a authentic place in Philly that has like multiple breads.
Right.
I know there's a spot Cosme down in South Philly. They were the first place where I had a seeded roll.
Okay.
Hello, man.
What's up,
What's
bro?
up, man?
Got a question.
What's
What's
that?
good?
Any place around here today selling Chinese food?
Chinese food? I don't know nowhere around here, bro.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
No doubt, man. Be
Yeah,
safe
no
out
doubt,
here.
man.
I live around here, and I like that kind of food.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
So much.
All right, bro.
All right.
Good day.
You too,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, you know, like, and I mean, I get it from spots where they be like, they want to try to make people eat healthy and whole wheat and all that. But yo, again, same with the extra meat. Give me what you got.
Yeah.
You are not going to D'Alessandro's talking about, I want a honey wheat roll. Boys gonna look at you
Try
like you
it.
crazy.
Try
Like,
it and
yo,
see
I
what
double
happens.
dog dare you to go
Please do.
to D'Alessandro's on a Saturday night and stay in that line and ask for a honey wheat roll or something like that, or a whole wheat roll. Like, nah, you get what we have. Like, and that's what I loved about the authenticity of a Philly cheesesteak, is it's no holds barred. It's like either you like it or you don't. If you don't like it, go to Subway, go to Jimmy John's, go somewhere else
Right.
to get your sandwich. But if you want an authentic Philly joint, you know, you get it the way you got it. So you leaving off with 4.5?
I'm at 4.5. This is probably number one from the places we reviewed so far as in Maryland.
Yeah, this is dope.
Cause you were back home. Where'd you go?
Where, Stella's?
You went to Stella's,
Stella's
right?
stupid. Stella's
Yeah.
5 mics. If
I
you
went-
in Philly, go to Stella's.
I went to
man.
Cafe Carmela,
Cafe Carmela's top 5.
and I did a
too.
video. I didn't post it because I looked so crazy eating that video.
Why you said that?
Oh man, I was crushing, bro.
For real?
Oh my god, yeah.
Cafe Carmelo,
Yeah.
Cafe Carmela is nice, man.
Yeah. So, but there's some spots we gotta get to.
Right,
We gotta get to the cheesesteak bar.
right.
Cause I'm hearing good things about that.
Gatch, have you been to Stella's or Cafe Carmela's yet? All right, we gotta go. We gotta get Iran too. We gotta just do a weekend trip and get Iran. Shout out to Iran, man, who keeps me in Gadge's inbox full with any cheesesteak spot or discussion there is out here.
Is John's your number one still?
Yo, here's the crazy part, man. John's is still number one, but I don't think John's does Cooper Sharp. And I'm so in love with Cooper Sharp right now, and Angelo's does Cooper Sharp.
What is John's? do?
John's is just American or pro
White American.
Right, they don't do whiz either. So but that's a testament to how good John's is, that they don't have two of my favorite cheeses, and they're still my number one. But I mean, it's John's, Angelo's. To me, the top 5 with me for cheesesteaks at least is just like similar to my top 5 MCs. It's kind of like, if you got Nas at number 2 and I got him at number 1, and you got Big at number 3, like the top 5 it is. So it's like John's, Angelo's. We're giving y'all game to, if you're in Philly, you could go to any of these spots. You know what I'm saying? And walk away with a legit cheesesteak. So John's, Angelo's, Cafe Carmela, Stella's, D'Alessandro's, Mama's. You know what I mean?
Mama's was.
Yeah, my man just hit me yesterday for Mama's, literally.
For real?
But here's the crazy part, bro. Look at this. He hit me with a picture, and I was like, "Where's that from? Philly or Delaware?" He's like, "Nigga, this Mama's," and I was like, "Word?" Like, it looked like it ain't the same no more. But like, look
Right.
kind of small.
Right. That ain't what they gave me. 'Cause
Yeah,
I
'cause-
remember. Yeah.
Yeah, Mama's is dope
Yeah.
too. So definitely check out those joints. Yo, let me ask you this, bro, and Gadge too. So we were talking about that Mary joint with Fab, with the kick in the door. This boy's talking about like, yo, you know, the way that they flipped it. And I'm like, bro, they didn't
Wasn't
flip
really a
it.
flip.
It's not a flip. It's the same sample. And I'm like, R&B has been doing this to hip hop since the mid 90s. And I'm not talking about more so Mary with What's the 411 with Top Billing and things like that. I'm talking about, you know, SWV, you know, singing over, you know, the 10 Crack Commandments.
Right,
You know,
right.
now that was 97. So we've been doing this for a rap. You know what I mean? So we started talking about how, but his question was, well, what's wrong with using the same sample, you know, that somebody's already used? And I was like, well, in the 90s, it was this unwritten law, like you couldn't do that. Like, it's used, you gotta move on. Do you know how much I love Cream? I think that's one of the greatest samples in the history of hip hop. I would never in my life loop Cream again. Unless I was gonna chop it up and redo something to it.
So
like,
is it okay if it's another part of the same? So like Nautilus, for instance.
yeah, to me, if there's another part
Okay.
of the same song,
Okay.
like I did this beat and I didn't even realize at first that it was the same sample that Big used for What's Beef. You know what I mean? Because I used a different part of
Different
it.
part,
You know what I
okay.
mean?
Right.
But Gadge, what do you think about people using the same sample with hip hop. With R&B, they don't give a fuck about our culture. They, you know, that's some A&R just saying, yo, sing over Kicking the Door or whatever like that. But as far as like, I don't think a lot of the younger generation understands that it's off limits. Like Bucktown is one of my favorite samples. But nobody ever used Bucktown again because it was like, oh, Walton them used it. Okay, it was almost like, damn, Walton them used it. Now we can't use it. You know what I mean? And when you do hear Bucktown again, it's what? R&B. It's flowetry. You know, so what do you think, Gaz?
So I'm from the original artist perspective.
Okay.
Like, a lot of these artists, they may just be getting their publishing or whatever. So I think if they have a chance to make some money, I'm all for it. I might not like the song, but I'm all for people from the 60s getting their bread.
Right.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, what's my dude? Lenny Williams.
Right.
Like,
right.
Kanye saved his house.
Right.
Going in foreclosure.
Right.
And that wasn't the first time somebody sampled that.
Right. Right.
So
Now tell me this. That's a good heart. See, Gadget's a good soul. He's trying to get to heaven. Like, that's a very heavenly answer, and I love it. But even if, like, let's say publishing didn't matter, and in the 90s,
nostalgic-wise, I still like it because I haven't listened to Kicking the Door for 15 years.
Okay. See, for me in the 90s, it was kind of just like, once you do that, it's almost like, you know what? It's some hood shit. I know boys who would run through, you know what, I'm not even gonna go there. We're not gonna do that because we want to keep this at a certain rate. Let's just
Run through chicks.
Yeah.
we're gonna change the word. We date a lot of the same women. Then there was boys like, me and my crew didn't do that. Like, it was like, that's Rell's girl, that's Rell's girl. You broke up with her, that's Rell's girl.
Right.
That's how I kind of was raised to look at samples. That's like, oh man, Walt used it. Okay, guess we can't use it, because if that was the case, why didn't we have 20 people using the same Come Clean sample? It's crazy. You know what I mean? So there was an unwritten rule at that time where it was like, man, we can't use that. Or think about They Reminisce Over You. Think of how crazy those horns are. But nobody used it again because, again, it was like this unwritten rule of you can't do that. And I think it was because so many of those producers that were out in New York were all crew. They all dug together.
But here's the thing. I'm all for sampling joints that wasn't classics. Like, if somebody like
Now, but hold tight. I want to take, we're in the 90s. We're not in 2024. So in 1990,
okay.
you're a producer and you're basically, you run, because all those producers ran together. Q-Tip, Diamond D, Large Professor, all the 90s producers who we love were all friends.
I wouldn't have done it back then.
Right. You see what I mean?
Okay,
and I
okay.
think it's because the situation was they were all friends. Like, there weren't really that many Philly producers in the 90s.
Right.
You know what I mean? There weren't really, I mean, outside of Dre, Sir Jinx, you know, there were a couple of, you know, producers, E. Swift, no disrespect, but the bulk producers who were coming out of hip hop in the mid 90s were from New York.
Right.
So it's gonna be, how are you gonna be Q-Tip and use the same sample I did, but you know what?
He did it.
He did it. Because there were a good 10, 13, 14% of the time when that happened. Because
isn't
If the Papes Come, which was a Tribe 12-inch, was a B-side, was the same beat as, if I'm not mistaken, of Main Source's, what was that, Gadge? The one about baseball? A Friendly Game of Baseball? Is that the same sample? I know If the Papes Come sampled something that Large Pro did off of the Main Source album. You know what I mean? I know that there were times when it happened afterwards, but I just felt like, you know, a lot of times, that was just like, I can't come to you and be like, we digging, and I'm like, yo, guess what? I used the same sample you used for They Reminisce Over You.
First of all, that never happened.
What's that?
Niggas wasn't saying what they used.
Oh, yeah. But were they?
No.
So not even amongst peers?
Nah.
But is it, and again.
And that's why a lot of songs had the same sample, because they wasn't talking to each other.
Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. So basically, there still was, because I'm always just, and again, this is just an assumption, that it was kind of like how everybody, because the rumor was like, well, yo, Large Professor gave Pete the sample for They Reminisce Over You type thing.
I heard that.
So it's kind of just like, so they would give records, but not necessarily tell you what they used.
Right.
Okay.
Is it?
Some people was hiding records. You see people hide records.
Right.
Am I correct to assume that Large Professor is vastly underrated when it comes to the legend producers? Based on the stories I hear, him helping this person do this,
Yeah.
teaching this person how to work, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Large is so slept on. I mean, Large, from what he did in his time span, like he is to me one of the GOAT producers. To me, his name isn't mentioned just because he doesn't have the longevity
Right.
of it. But Large is like, who is Large like? Like, Large is like one of those basketball players that just killed shit for 4 years. Like his 3-4 year run. You know who that boy is like? Who was Andrew Toney for the Sixers? The Boston Strangler. Like that's who Large Pro was for
Right.
that era of time. He is like, he's coming at you. I mean, he did both those Resurrection remixes for Calm, which was crazy. Large doesn't get enough credit. I think on the remix game, I hate it. Love Poe and March to Death, but I never liked the original Stress. Never liked it, didn't like the video. The Large Professor remix to Stress, bro, like, I know we talk about with Pete was saving groups. Yo, Large P, I won't say he was saving groups, but he was definitely making you better. Like Resurrection, the original one was dope, but it's nowhere near the 2 Extra P ones. His remix for Gotta Get Over for Gangstar, he's one of the very few people who I felt have remixed the Gangstar song and make it better. I know people disagree. Y'all say Can't Stop the Prophet. I actually like the original Can't Stop the Prophet and Dice's Real Hip Hop better than the Pete Rock remixes. But yeah, called me 5 times in a row. But
Oh, don't forget, what's the joint for Slick Rick he did?
oh, It's a Boy.
It's a Boy.
It's a Boy
Boy,
remix.
yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
So I mean,
yeah,
I think another thing, because you know, Large, I think the thing that kind of separates Large from a lot of people that a lot of people won't talk about, and I guarantee you can search the internet, you're only gonna hear this one, Illadelph Steak Life, because I've never heard anybody talk about this. Large learned the SP12 from Paul C, who's this white boy producer from Queens who got murdered. Paul C was doing a lot of Ultramagnetic, Super Lover C, Casanova Rudd.
Okay.
He was working with Organized before he died. So the thing that Paul, from what I've heard, was so dope about Paul was he really was the boy who like read the operating manual and really knew how to make that machine do what it does. Most kids from the hood in the 90s didn't all have drum machines.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you're only getting an opportunity to go to this person's house or your man's crib, or you just going to the studio. So I think by Paul C teaching Large Professor, he learned so many different tricks that the average person wouldn't have known. Gadge, I don't know about you. Yo, I get the machine. All I need to do is learn how to sample and chop. That's it. I'm not reading nothing else in the manual. I'm sure the machine, the MPC, the ASR can probably do 89% different things that I have no idea about. The only thing I need to know is how to sample, how to chop, how to put this in song mode, and I'm off to the races. I think Paul C understood how to use the SP1200 to its fullest potential, taught that to Extra P. So then that way, Extra P, you kind of already got an open hand over everybody else, because I honestly know how this whole machine works.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So him teaching little things here and there, I can give you a secret, I can give you a trick, but I'm still not giving you
everything,
the whole playbook almost.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that's the thing. But yeah, Large Pro definitely deserves a lot more credit. But Gadge, do you think it should be held against you if you do sample something that was already sampled? Souls of Mischief, 93 to Infinity. Classic song, classic sample. If Helter Skelter came out with that same sample afterwards, I feel like you're getting laughed out the park. Because at that point in time, once we know it's 93 till infinity, and now 2 years later, so this isn't like, I'll give you another example of it with Helter Skelter. Let the Brains Blow. That was the sample, I can't remember offhand, but they used the same sample that Showbiz and AG used at the same time. Those things, I think, are what you're talking about. Producers not talking, so it just so happens at the same time we both have the same sample out. Pete and CL and OC. OC's Born to Live
That's
and
a good
Take
one.
You There.
That's a good one.
They both came out at the same time.
That's
So I
a
think
good
that's
one.
a great example of what
That's
Gage
a
is
good-
talking about.
What's the joint Just Blaze did
That Alchemist
Black
did.
Moon.
Oh, no. That was a, no.
Hold on, what?
No, because he's talking about the, PSA.
Okay.
So remember, but that was originally off of OC's first album as an interlude. And then Black Moon already had Stay Real out before that came out. So to me, that got to go to Buckwild. Buckwild gets props for that. You know what I mean? And that's why Walt and them had a problem with Just. Was because it was like, bro, this our single. Like, why are you using the same sample? So I think that's the thing. Like, you have these people who are like stuck in their rules that are like, and Just is not from that time.
Right.
Just
right.
is a 2000 plus producer.
Right.
You have these 90s producers. I just saw this thing my man Eddie sent me about Jazzy Jeff, and he was saying how a lot of these scratch DJs can't get gigs.
Exactly.
And he's like, that's because y'all are still up here trying to do tricks and everything. Like, the new DJ now is about your set list. It's not about if you could backspin. It's not about no tricks and all that stuff. It's about he's like, yo, there are gigs where I don't even scratch. Because that's not, it's like you have to play for your crowd. And Jeff gave a great analogy of when you're cooking for somebody. If you're cooking with somebody who has diabetes, you ain't gonna put a lot of salt in there.
Right.
So you gotta know who you're cooking for. If this crowd is a Vegas corporate event, they didn't come to see me do Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince DJ tricks.
Transformer.
They came,
They didn't come to a DMC performance.
right,
exactly,
right,
they
right.
came to hear the song play out.
Right.
So I think because Just doesn't come from that era, it's kind of like, yeah, but I'm gonna use it too. And it's just that era, we just didn't do that. We gonna just use something somebody else already used. Or here's a great example. I heard this story that I think Havoc reached out to Mo B somehow to ask, can I use that same Esther Phillips sample you used for the LL Pink Cookies remix? Can I use that for Just Step off of the Infamous?
Yeah.
Or Tip reached out. Somebody reached out.
did.
Who?
Havoc did.
Havoc did. But that, you see, but that's the respect. That's what I mean by it was an unwritten rule. Because if it wasn't there, why would I have to reach out to the original producer to ask, yo, is it okay? I don't even think Havoc knew where the sample came from. So I also think he was reaching out like, yo, what was it?
Right.
So it was like there was this level of respect that I'm not just gonna use what you used. I'm gonna ask on some respect type shit.
Cause I'm surprised that a lot of those samples that was used on Black Moon's first album people didn't do over again or still. Like,
Right.
cause think about Who Got the Props? That sample. Like that is
Crazy.
Crazy.
And think about who stole it. Usher. See, that goes back to the R&B people.
Okay.
They'll jack it in a heartbeat because
Yeah.
they're just trying
They
to make
just
a
trying to
hit.
make it right.
So it's like, oh, people love who got the props. Okay, have Usher sing over the Tidal Wave sample. But like you said, because again, it was that unwritten rule of we just don't do that. And because at that time, probably 75% of the producers making noise in the beginning to mid 90s were all New York producers. Keep in mind, Cast wasn't out like that yet.
Nope.
You know what I mean? The really only West Coast producers, I mean, of course, Dre and Jinx and some of them, when the bulk of the people, like New York was basically writing the rules.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, this is why we respected all those rules. But now what happens by 2000, where's Kanye, one of the dopest producers? He's from Chicago. He ain't from New York. He ain't come up in that. We're just from, he from Jersey. He didn't come up in that. You know what I mean?
So
now you're having all, so
those
the rules
don't apply.
don't
They
apply
really
no more.
Go by those rules.
They don't
right.
go by them rules. So if I want to use something you use, so be it.
Let me ask you this. What is some samples that you wish you would have did?
Oh my God, there's so many. Oh my God, yo. We were just talking about Benny's new album, whatever the last one was,
Higher.
Higher. When I heard that, I was like, I wish I made that beat. You know what I mean?
You know what made me want to like try to produce How Many MCs?
Ooh, I was just listening to that the other day. God, that was so hard.
When you play that, you turn that joint up loud. That shit just
Man. Woo.
boom boom boom. Yeah, that's my man.
And Evil scratching that how many?
Yeah,
it's
man.
just a beautiful, perfect hip hop song. I mean, off top, Come Clean. When I first heard Come Clean, it was just like, yo, are those real water drops? Like,
Yeah.
because in Beat Street, when Kenny talked about, yo, I sampled this from the Waters drop, and we was like, yo, did Primo do that? That was crazy. A lot of Primo shit, man. Rappers are in danger. That KRS shit was so hard. Like, that was crazy. Alchemist, Hold You Down with Prodigy. I love that sample, man.
Alchemist had the same sample as, what was that, Rock La Familia or
Rock La Familia.
Hold You Down is the same sample.
Same sample as that.
On the Dynasty.
But I think they came out at the same time, right? All right,
Oh,
so like you
snap.
said, they're
Hold
not,
on.
yeah,
Yeah,
soon you'll
damn.
understand. He's just
Yeah.
flipping it to Hold You Down. So yeah,
He flipped it different though.
yeah. And it's better, too, my
Right.
opinion. My opinion is
Right,
much
right,
better. But yeah, I think that may go back to, again, Gadge, to what you were saying, that, you know, people weren't telling each other what they used at the same time. Or even if one of the two heard the other one, either way, maybe they decide, okay, I'm gonna use sample, but I'm gonna use it different. You know what I'm saying?
So Take You There, Born to Live.
Right. Pete Rock and
Pete
Buck
Rock
Wild.
and Buck Wild.
Right.
Do you think there was any communication or?
Probably not, just because it was the same time. If I'm not mistaken, it's both 94.
Yeah.
So it's the same time. And then on top of that, Keep Rising to the Top was just like, especially in New York, from what I heard, you know what I mean? Was such a, Kel always talks about how Keep Rising to the Top was like a Queen's anthem. Like they just played that. So because it was such a huge song, it's hard to even really say something because it's not
Right.
like nobody really had to dig for that joint. Like we all knew Keep Rising
Which one
to
you
the
like
Top.
better?
Oh, the Pete joint. The Pete.
So here's the thing about it. I think I said it on one of the shows. I like the Pete beat better. I like OC's song better.
I was gonna. I was.
I don't know how to explain that. But
I love what OC is saying
right,
more than what CL is saying.
Right.
That's one thing. The problem is that CL is just so goddamn smooth over that Pete beat.
I mean,
that
it's a perfect fit.
It's the perfect
It's a perfect fit, yeah.
And then again, and this is no disrespect to Buck Wild because they both got hard drums. My OG, a kid called Roots, who taught me about drum programming, was like, yo, listen to Pete's drums. Like, don't just listen to the sample and it's the same. Listen to Pete's drum programming, listen to how it hits, listen to Buck Wild. And again, this is no disrespect. It's like the Olympics, two people racing. It's a millisecond that's gonna make you win.
Yeah.
So I mean, both songs are incredible.
Pete's has a little more bounce to it,
Right.
a little more oomph to it, and I just like OC song.
Right.
better for
I
some
like what
reason.
OC is saying because nobody knows what the hell CL's talking about anyway. So I mean, love CL to death, bro.
Right,
Smoothest
right.
voice, top 5 ever. But dog, what were you talking about half the time?
Right.
So, but yeah. So Gadge wants everybody to get their publishing. I agree. In 2024, everybody. Here's the crazy part, bro. I just would hope a lot of these artists actually own their publishing. You know what I mean? And are getting these checks. You know what I mean? Because that would be the sad part if everybody is sampling everybody and these people still can't eat because
Right.
they had to sell their publishing throughout the years. Because you figure, dog, I mean, if you made a song in 65, what is that, 85, 75, 85, 95, 2005, 15? That's 60 years ago. Like, you probably done sold off that publishing because you're old. You know, like, God forbid, you know, you couldn't pay your mortgage. Here, you know what I mean? So it's sad to say that we talking something that happened 60 years ago, like, that you still own it, and most people didn't even understand the art of ownership
Right.
at that point. Look at DOC. Just in, what is that, 89? Sold the publishing for the rope chain. Under the guise of it made sense. Like, dog, I could write rhymes all day. This ain't nothing. Like, give me another rope chain. You know, so that's 89. So only imagine what somebody's mindset was in 65.
Wait, he sold his publishing for a rope chain?
In the beginning, like when he first, so I don't know how much he sold the Easy, but that DOC chain that he has in the video, it was like, yo, here's a chain, give me your publishing. And it was just like, you know, I could write more rhymes. Because again, we don't know. Like, that's the crazy thing. And like, we were talking about this when the New Edition movie came out, and everybody on Twitter was like, oh, they ain't read their contracts. I'm like, y'all motherfuckers don't read y'all contracts when Apple sends you something new. Should be a new
Facts.
update. You just hit accept. That motherfucker could be saying, yo, we taking 10% of your credit card every month. We videotaping everything. You have no idea. So again, these boys had no idea.
Kids from
You know what I
from
mean?
Boston.
They kids. At the end of the day, bro, if Gadge came to us right now like, yo, he want to sign us to his label, we gotta call Trey. Because we have no idea.
I don't know what I'm reading.
Right. And I'm 50 and I don't know what I'm
Right.
reading. This ain't about an age thing.
Right.
Lawyers speak a whole nother language, which is why they go to school. So it don't matter if you 50 or you 5. If you can't read Spanish, you can't read Spanish. Same thing with a contract, you know, so it's just messed up that so many people had to lose out on that. But yeah, man. All right, so there y'all go. Y'all got Soko's here in Takoma Park, Maryland. 4.5 mics if you're in Maryland. You want a cheesesteak, you got a taste for one. This is it. I apologize to everybody who we sent to Takoma cheesesteaks, and then they flipped it on y'all. One of my homegirls hit me on Twitter, said, you know, she enjoyed it. You know what I mean? So that's good. I'm glad, because that's why I'm like, fuck them, because y'all got us sending people to y'all.
We spoke
and then
very
y'all
highly.
changing up the size of the cheesesteaks. And now I told you that they got it where it's like a $14 one if you want regular meat, $19 if you want the prime, the shaved prime rib. And that wasn't how it was when we went there at all. You know what I mean?
Not at all.
So if you're in Maryland, DC, come to Soka Monday through Sunday. I think they open the day till 7. So if you out here, get that up. Rell, where can they get at you? What you working on, bro? We about to do something.
Yeah. So my album is coming out. So by the time y'all see this, it'll be out. It's coming this Friday. It's called It's Not You, It's Me. It's produced by this man right here, Kil. And then, you know, executive produced by Kil, my man JR, and it's real soulful album. I'm really, 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 really proud of how it came out. So, and you know, I'm coming for album of the year. So
there you go.
So yeah, check it out, man. I wouldn't lead you wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, give it a chance. I promise you won't be disappointed. And you can get at me, Uptown Rell 215 on the gram, JBen215 on Twitter.
And talk a little bit about what the album is about, because to me, this album isn't your regular just
right.
hip hop spitter album.
Yeah, it's something I've never fully done before in my whole time of making music. I wanted to do something. It all stemmed from a joke, where I was calling myself Rell Tresvant, right? And I said, you know, a project's coming from that. And everybody thought I was playing, but I had a plan in my mind, like, there's really something coming from that. And basically, this album is just about relationships, relationships with your significant other, friendships, relationships with family. It's just a real, just a different type of album. Like the album I put out a year ago, this is totally different, you know what I'm saying? I want it all like soulful beats or whatever. That's the feel I wanted, and it's good. Like the first single is Falling, and it's like it's no song like Falling on my previous album, you know what I'm saying? It's, you know, of course, talking about a girl. And my thing about that is, like, we all humans, you know what I'm saying? Some of these guys, these rappers, like, tough for no reason. You don't like women? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's wrong with that? You know what I mean? So I'm talking, and then I'm at a certain age where I'm gonna talk about grown man things, you know what I'm saying? So that's what this album is about. And I'm still spitting, it's still bars, you know what I'm saying? I got my man Vegas on there. I got a couple other features as well. But it came out really good. It's a real soulful album. It's a good album to ride to, you know what I'm saying? So be on the lookout for that.
All right, and I think another thing too is you have more people talking about they want adult contemporary hip hop, where, you know, it's like something that you can relate to. I promise you. If you've been in a relationship, I don't care how long, how short, how many, there's something on this album that you can relate to, and that's gonna be your theme music. And you're gonna be like, yo, I rock with that one. Or,
positively and negatively. Yeah. 'Cause I'm touching on everything, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's gonna be something for everybody, you know what I mean? Something for everybody. And that's the thing, that there are artists that are doing adult contemporary hip hop that we probably need to give more shine to, but that's what this album is. So be on the lookout, man. It's gonna be fire.
All right, no doubt. Y'all already know Kil889, Twitter, IG. We got Rell, It's Not You, It's Me. We got Vegas, Best Style Vintage. The album just dropped this past Friday, produced by me too. This is me and Vegas' 6th album. We out here with an ill discography people need to tap into. Then we also Got back with Sweetie coming this year, which is gonna be crazy. We got the single out right now with Tajay from Souls of Mischief. And like I'm asking people, like, yo, just give us the same love you would give if this was Pete Rock and CL Smooth, or if it was, you know what I mean, if it was Knots and, you know, Rod Digger doing something. Like, that's all I'm asking for is the opportunity. Give us a run. If you don't like it, by all means, don't listen.
Right.
Don't tell nobody. But if you fuck with it, like I tell my niggas in Philly, if you fuck with me, then fuck with me.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
if you fuck with us, then help spread the word. Help get the word out there. We wanted that top 5 album of the year. I believe any 3 of these albums, if not all 3, could make your top 5 of the year. So that's all we asking for is, you know, just give us that same love that you would to anybody else out here. Just listen to the music. Stop looking at names and just listen to the music.
Right.
Like, that would be my challenge.
Right,
Stop
right.
looking at the names, listen to the music. Gadget, where can they get at you, man? I don't know how this dude went from being a third person on this show to now he ain't ever on camera, he don't
He's
eat.
too modest, man. He's
Right.
too modest.
At Digital Hustler, everything.
Digital Hustler.
At Digital Hustler.
That's a fitting name too, by the way.
There you go. All right, y'all. Next time, Illadelph Steak Life, Apartment 5B too. We got some dope apps coming up too.
Yes, sir.